What is the most important organ in the body? Heart. Okay, heart's important. Let's ask it in a different way. What organ has the most protection around it? Which organ is totally encased by bone? The brain. That's right. You can have a bag full of hearts and they won't do anything unless they're connected to the brain, telling it to do stuff, right? Yeah. Okay, so the brain is the most important organ. It tells us that our brain, our consciousness, allows us to express everything that we want. Our wants, our desires, whatever we want is expressed through our brain. And then, so, with that in mind, what's our second most important organ in the body? What connects the brain to the rest of the body so we can go do the stuff that we want and we want to do?
Nervous system.
Your nervous system. Your spine, your spine. Excellent. Okay. So, with that in mind, what happens if there's a disconnect between the brain and the nervous system? What happens?
Things don't work right.
Things don't work right. Who here remembers Christopher Reeve? Superman? Okay. He had an unfortunate accident a long time ago where he hurt his neck very, very high, and from there down, he didn't work, right? He was relegated to, he was a quad, and he couldn't even breathe on his own. And eventually, that life force from his brain to the rest of his body was choked off, and then he basically succumbed to his injuries, right? So, spine first. The spine is the number one thing you gotta prioritize. So, I need a volunteer. Who raised their hand first? We'll go with Matt. We'll go with Matt. He's closest right here. Give a hand for Matt. Okay. So this is just a little demonstration of the importance of prioritizing the spine first. You're kind of a strong guy, right?
Here, I'm not like you.
So Matt is here. His brain is telling him to stand here and be nervous and all that stuff, right? Okay. What I want you to do, he's standing relatively in a good, neutral, stable position for his spine. We're going to have you bring your hand out just like this. And I want you to splay your fingers out just like that. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to test Matt's arm for strength, okay? So I'm just going to do this here, and I'm testing your arm for strength, and that's good and strong, okay? That's pretty good. He's a strong guy. I don't know if this is going to work today. So,
did you tell me
what
about
I'm going
that?
to tell you to do, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to keep that out nice and splayed fingers. I want your fingers nice and splayed out like this. And when I tell you to, I want you to look up. When I tell you to. Okay? All right? So we're going to do the same thing right here, just like this. And that's good and strong. Go ahead and look up for me. And then he starts to bend. Gets a little bit of weakness right there. So we'll do it again. Now this time I want you to look down. Okay? So, right there. Go ahead and look down. He gets a little bit of weakness. You get that. So what's happening here, remember the connection from the brain to the spinal cord. You can relax.
We can see that like a fish.
He gets a little bit of a disconnect. And you know, he's not paralyzed or anything like that, but when he looked up, he gets that little bit of disconnect, and then he bent his arm a little bit.
Well, turn around and show them. When you bend back, bend your head back. You actually see a kink. See the kink in his neck? There's actually a kink in the spine. So if you think of like a hose, as the water runs through the hose, and you put a little bit of kink on it, it changes the flow of water, right? Same thing with the nervous system as it's communicating down the spine, and it gets a kink.
So obviously this isn't a huge nervous system insult, but he gets that instantaneous weakness and bend in the arm. So if you're in sports or you're doing a deadlift or something, you see people doing this, and then they wonder why they're injuring themselves and they're not getting their PRs or whatever it may be, is because of that disconnect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So, prioritizing the spine first. If you want to be better at anything that you do, just with that simple demonstration of just that little bit of change in your spine, you're going to get weakness. Wherever that nerve's going to, you're going to have weakness.
That's awesome.
And so a good thing to think about that with too, I'm sure we have some people in here that go to the gym and they like to squat, or they like to do different things. And so he used the deadlift. Not everybody does a deadlift, but again with the squat, a lot of people put the bar on their back and then they tilt their head back. And so again, it's the same thing. You're not only setting yourself up for injury in the neck and the spine, but you also are not at your full level of performance that you could be at if you were finding that neutral spine. So because spine first, we want to talk about some cues that you guys can use to know if you're sitting or standing or doing proper alignment. So we're going to have everybody stand up. All right. First things first, I want you guys to think about, without moving your feet, but I want them to be forward in front of you, straight ahead, okay? And you're not going to move them or move your knees, but think about that you're screwing your feet into the ground, outward. So your right foot is screwing out clockwise and your left foot counterclockwise. And as you do that, your knees open up a little bit, right? As you kind of screw, you keep the feet there, but screw it into the ground, okay? Pushing it into the ground, okay? That's the first one when you're standing, okay? Then after that, what I want you to do is I want you to find, you're gonna find your xiphoid process, which is here at the bottom of your sternum, and you're gonna put a hand there, okay? Like that, thumb there, fingers out, okay? And then I want you to find the top of your pelvis and put another finger right there, okay? So this is an easy way to look that you're in neutral spine. If you look down and your hands are not in alignment and one is either forward like this, more closer together, or extended where it's further apart, then your spine is not in a neutral position, okay? So the way to fix that is to tighten the glute muscles or the butt muscles, tighten those down.
I don't have what,
And then, as if somebody is, almost as if somebody's gonna come up and punch you in the abs, you know, gonna punch you in the belly, what do? You tighten those abs up, a little bit to protect yourself, right? Tighten those a little bit. Raise your shoulders like you're rolling them back. And then bring your head to a neutral, so not forward, not back, but in a neutral spot. And then I want you to look down at your hands and see if they're closer in alignment and not one forward, one back, closer together. So this gives you an idea of what spinal bracing our spine, so spine first in a neutral position to protect your spine. That is the position. For a lot of people, that's a lot of work. Because what do we do most of the time? We sit. And sitting is sitting has been found to be as bad for you as smoking. And sitting is very difficult to maintain a neutral spine. You can, but you have to do it standing before you sit. Because once you sit, the butt just goes to sleep. And as we fatigue, what do? We slouch, okay? So you can do that same thing when you're sitting down and look for that neutral spine, okay? So that's putting the spine first before you sit, stand, squat to carry something, pick up a baby, anything like that, pick up groceries. Think about that, and as you practice that, and people might look at you, what are they doing? But as you practice that, then it'll become more instinctual, where you just automatically do that. You automatically engage the glutes. You automatically engage the abs. You automatically screw your feet to the ground. You pull your head back, pull your shoulders back, and maintain that neutral spine to avoid injury.
We got a little more time here. So I need one more volunteer. Go, Patrick. Come on back.
Is it?
Yes.
No, they think it's bad.
They
do not hear what I just said.
I want what was the number one, what was the most important organ in the body? Brain. The second most? Spine. Because it connects the brain to the rest of the body.
If you wanted to, you just want to around like this.
So you have a nerve. Patrick has a nerve here, I'm assuming. We'll use this hand because it doesn't have a watch. It's called the median nerve. I'm sure your wife understands that nerve, all right? So you have nerves that exit out your neck, go down your arms, and exit out, the spine, and goes to all the different parts of the body. I'm just going to do a demonstration here for Mr. Patrick. So you have a nerve here, right? I'm going to be pushing on this nerve. I'm not trying to hurt you, but you tell me, other than what you feel here, what does it feel in here? So I'm going to slowly push down onto this here.
Kind of close my hand a little bit.
Yeah, kind of close. Does it feel a little tingle?
Well, I think push.
Yeah. Does it kind of tingle in there a little bit? No?
It's just making it close.
Making it close a little bit. Okay, so it hurts here. It hurts here, right?
Right.
But all the issues are out here. Same thing here. If you hurt here, all the issues, wherever these nerves are going to, down your arms, going to the heart, go into the organs, that's where you're going to have your problem.
Yeah.
So,
It can be pinched in the spine, but they can come in and say, you know, every time after I eat, I have heartburn. Or, you know, I got tingling in my fingers. But where is the cause of the problem? Is it in the tips of the fingers? No. Is it in the GI system? Maybe, maybe not, you know. So that was what that example shows, is that you can be pinching one spot, but the symptoms are somewhere else.
thanks. We're Doctors Wil and Kirsten, River Valley Chiropractic.
If you guys have